I insist, as we talked about it, that also men can be raped. Don't just because
Kanso didn't deny that. He didn't deny that. He said
so
they
men,
can also be raped. Only
men-
that the cases that always happen or that emerge to provide proof.
Yes, proof
that a
is
man was
very
raped.
hard, but of course we can find a way out. But we are saying that if you get to be raped, please, you have the right as well to go and report that. But also remember that, hey, you cannot be denied what you're supposed to be given and just sit on your back and wait. Yes,
Like Kanso said.
hey, go report that.
And
Instead
also-
of you raping someone, first report it. Say, you know what? Hey, I'm likely not being given what I'm supposed to be, what the law allows me. So report before you rap.
But also the fact that there's also a gap in the authorities.
I said report before you rap, but I would have said report, don't rap. Yes.
Yeah, and the thing is, like we said, of course, there's also a gap and room for improvement, of course, in the authorities and the bodies report too, which is very important. Commendable work done by them, but of course, there's always room for improvement, and we can do better. So, we'll come back to this other hour. This other hour is about culture, travel, and lifestyle. Mark McLaren is with us this morning. Mark, how you doing, brother?
Peace, my brothers. Peace.
Peace, bro. Peace. You're looking nice, man.
I
Hey,
do
nice
my
African
best.
attire, yeah.
I try. I
Typical
definitely do my
African.
best.
You know, traditional
Hey.
man. He likes that. Anyways, before we get to the conversation, in our best way, the way you know so well, the way we do it, we're reminded to pay school fees easily, the best way to pay from Bank of Kigali. And you can do this anytime, anywhere, with no queues, no stress. Just that fast, secure, and easy way of making the payments with an instant confirmation on your mail that you've finished, paying school fees for Mark McLaren at school so and so. And this is the balance, and that's for parents. For schools, it's simple. You easily collect the fees and you also track in real time the payments that are made on your portal. So they will help you to balance and so well. And for more information, through to pay from Bank of Kigali is the best way to pay school fees.
I don't know which kind of hotels, by the way, you go to when you want to watch World Cup or go have fun, but Kigali Paramount Hotel is telling you that they've got you covered for the World Cup experience. Just come to Kigali Paramount Hotel, watch football with your friends, your colleagues on big screens, great atmosphere, and unforgettable moments. Kigali Paramount Hotel is telling you, we've got you covered. We are here in Kichuchilo. Just as you head to Kagarama Secondary or maybe heading to Nyanza, you will see that hotel just on your left. If you're coming from where? If you're sloping down. If you're going up, it's on your right. You'll see Kigali Paramount Hotel and go check on them. If you want, to come to the place, please call them at +250 794 425219. Or you can email them at reservation@kigaliparamounthotel.com. And also, Canal Plus is telling you that, we have something for you, brings you an incredible World Cup experience now here. Did you know that Canal Plus subscribers can now watch the FIFA World Cup through the DSTV channels, which are already included in their packages? So they're telling you, but renew your subscriptions early or get a Canal Plus decoder today and enjoy every moment of the World Cup. So you have it all. So don't actually say that you can't watch the World Cup, you can't have a nice place to go and enjoy the World Cup. Kigali Paramount Hotel is a nice place to go to. And of course they've got also the Canal Plus, they've got the DSTV. Whatever you want to watch your World Cup, you find it there.
Understandable. Well, today's session of travel culture and lifestyle stories, of course, Mark, when I say peace to begin with, I want you to remind people that peace that transcends into identity, humanity, self-realization, achievement, relationships, and society as a whole. A lot of people culturally tend to keep quiet on situations or pressing issues
Mm.
that are heavy on their hearts.
Right.
You're a psychologist, and actually Arafat as well.
Clinical social work.
Exactly.
Clinical social
Yeah,
work.
it's a
Yeah,
little
clinical
different,
social worker, but
yeah, it's a
sorry,
little bit
but
different. No, but I just out of
yeah.
respect to the psychologists out
but-
there. I don't
Yeah,
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah, I wanna
But that
respect
is
them.
You can as
one
well
of
share the information.
but
with,
that is one of the the I may call it a societal department that people have not been keen to attend, to pay attention to. That is very important.
very, very important.
We need sociologists in our societies,
Absolutely.
and more with, of course, psychologists and psychiatrists, people like that.
Absolutely.
When I talked about, of course, the way society is formed, and culturally, African perspectives, African setting, and Arafat would agree with me that there's some things we say, no, that's not okay to go and share. Moments ago, we're talking about rape. Can a husband rape his wife? Is that normal? Can, for example, the other day, a friend of mine was sharing how his cousin attended a function of his brother. And now the brother who was wedding was left at the reception with their wife at the family gathering. At around 7:30, they went home and committed suicide. Nobody knew that this person was going to go and commit suicide. That is something. That was just one of the examples of the many that happen in society. And when I talk about things that are pressing us that we don't talk about, things that often affect us, and then we shy, or we're afraid to tell a friend to basically open up. And of course, like on Wellness and Relationship Tuesdays, we're talking about how considering how women struggle emotionally and primary living examinations. I want us to talk about how our culture looks at situations where children have grievances, or children have misunderstandings with the parents, or how children address situations that they're not okay with, considering AI on the rise, the help technologies that have come up, social media platforms, and the pressures that come from their friends and within our society to begin with. I don't know whether Arafat will bring in his view on this, about the fact that society, in this case, for example, our Rwandan setting, and now we nurture our children from, in those stages of growth. The other day we had somebody from Solid Minds Rwanda talk about that. The stages of child development and growth. We were talking about teenagers the other day,
Very true.
and the youth, If you look at some of the problems that affect children, especially those in their early teens, and they're afraid to open up and to share with friends or the parents, they look for strangers to share with them if they're able to take the courage. What conditions are basic in this case, and as a sociologist in this case, are commendable, are basic, that you've seen in this case, the way you've traveled, you've spent some time in Rwanda as well, or even in the US, how children express, considering the out culture bringing themselves.
Absolutely. So to start, I just want to share, I actually lost a student. I'm not going to share the school, I'm not going to share the student's name, but I actually lost a student this week.
That's very bad.
Yeah. And so this topic is, it hits very near to home, and it is very relevant for this actual moment. And I think one of the things that you touched on, grief, right? And children's grief. And I know culturally, children here are often told to be strong and don't cry and
don't show emotion.
and that is extremely harmful. And I know that people say, well, culturally we're different, but the brain works the same regardless of culture, right? And so
I
from
like that.
yeah, it
It hit
does.
hard. It hit hard.
And so
It
we're
hit hard
we're
for
talking
sure.
about young people who are the human brain doesn't fully develop until the age of 25.
Mm.
Teens are going through hormonal changes that they can't see and they cannot technically feel. They just know it's happening.
Mhm.
We've all gone through our teenage years,
Mm.
and as men with testosterone, all of a sudden you just start to feel tough.
Very true.
Like you're not afraid of anything.
Yes.
But you can't feel a surge of hormones. You just know all of a sudden you're like,
Mm.
don't, I can do this.
Yes.
And you feel like you can run through a wall. And so they are looking for adults to guide them. And if we as adults say, don't cry, don't show that emotion,
Mm.
we're stunting their emotional growth. And you see men who are angry
Mm.
and who are violent and all these things that we look in society and we're like, why are men doing these things?
Mm.
They're emotionally stunted. They were never allowed to cry. They were told, take that and turn it into, anger, or you're a man.
Mhm.
And what does that even mean?
Mhm.
And so, specifically for these teens,
Mm.
there's a website, and it's Full Circle Grief Center. And if you go to fullcirclegc.org, you can find this information that I would like to share. And it is 10 tips for handling teen grief.
Mm.
And so I think these things are important because teens are going to grieve.
The sound of Kigali is 94.3 Royal FM. So big and so cool.
Sorry about that.
But teens are going to experience grief in their lives one way or another. Unfortunately, sometimes it is a loss of a parent, sometimes a loss of a friend. It can there's different things. Grandparents. So the first tip is that teens encounter grief from a place that already feels complicated. Again, I talked about the hormonal changes that teens experience. And so when they're going through grief, as they're going through these hormonal changes, man, their brains are going all over the place.
Mm.
There's so much that's happening.
Mm.
And it really does make grief complicated. Like, how are you supposed to feel? Like, I got these hormonal changes, ups and downs for young boys. They're the again, testosterone makes you feel a bit more aggressive than young ladies.
Very
You
true.
know, and so, and I can't say exactly what, it's easy to give like a generalized feeling of estrogen, but I've never gone through that hormonal change. So I'm not going to speak on what young ladies feel, but all the young ladies listening, as you grew up, you knew what those hormonal changes felt like as teens. And so now you compound grief on that. What happens? Right? And so just understanding that it's going to be complicated for them. Just to start, grief is going to be complicated. And so we as adults have to take an understanding and realize that there's a lot of patience that we have to have. And there's a lot of listening. Adults like to tell people what to do all the time, especially, we got our teens. You have children. You have to guide them.
Very
But
true.
there are also times where we have to listen. There are times where we have to understand where they are and what's going on in their minds and in their world. Tip number 2, the grieving process is as individualized as each teen. And so everybody's grief looks different. The 3 of us could experience the exact same grief, and the three of us will
Handle
express
it
that.
differently.
We'll handle it differently. 100%. Man, I listen, my heart is soft. Grief, I can't help but cry.
I think grief doesn't have a hard tissue. It's always soft. Breaks down people. They get emotional. They break down. They
But also,
cry.
My
yes.
mother doesn't cry.
Others don't. Depends.
When my mother's mother passed away, my mother didn't cry. I'm bawling. But my mother was brought up in an era where be strong.
Be strong. That's normal.
She doesn't know how to cry anymore.
And then also, like, thank you for bringing that up. Because, like you're saying, it depends on how you've grown up,
Yeah.
how you've been nurtured. But realistically, even animals,
Hey, you are in.
not to be honest,
No.
realistically, even animals. Remember, humans, science says humans the most developed species. 100% developed species. Then gorillas next to that level in that descending order. Grief, when you say handled differently, and to be realistic, if, let's use a dog, loses its puppy, or a cat loses its kitten, right?
Yes.
Even if it's a rat, seeing a mouse, seeing a fellow mouse die, there's a way it gets, I don't know how these things are connected,
They grieve.
but sometimes society has brought us up in a way that grief, let's handle it as a way that won't break down, you won't cry. But naturally, as far as I've seen growing up and what research shows, unless you've been trained to not absorb it in a certain way, it has showed that it always breaks down people.
Absolutely. And I want you gave a great analogy of animals, right? In a discussion of animals. And I want you to really think about that. We as human beings always pride ourselves on being the smartest, most intelligent creatures on this planet. But we make ourselves below animals when we don't grieve. Animals grieve.
Can you imagine?
So if we're so intelligent, why do we put ourselves below animals that grieve? There have been documents of elephants that go back to the exact same spot of a fallen peer. An elephant in that troop that has passed away. They go back year after year after year and visit the same spot. There was a man who actually raised an elephant and he had a heart attack. He passed away. That elephant stayed with him until rangers came 3 days later. That elephant still visits that spot today, years later.
I like what you've just brought up, that analogy of the elephant visiting the same place. Actually, it's been said by so many people that the best way to actually grieve is to go back.
Yeah.
Go back to the good things this person did for you. Go back to the experience you shared with this person. Go back
Absolutely.
to who this person was for you. and I mean, give credit to those moments. It is very, very important. But it is very important. We need to understand that we don't all grieve the same way, since we don't all have the same experience of the
Exactly.
person who passed away.
Very interesting. Well, some people know that sometimes culture, travel, and lifestyle stories are always hyper. But this is part of what culture is all about. This is what of lifestyle is all about. It's part of what such stories are all about. Today, we're in this mode. Talking about this mode, it's Kigali in the morning. Let's take a break. When we return, Mark, our sociologist here
proceeding
now,
with the third,
is having
third point.
yeah,
Yes, the third
several
tip.
exactly several pointers on how best you can do it.
How we can help teens through grief.
You had it in his ears. It's Kigali in the morning. Stand by.
Morning Magic Overload. It's breakfast for the brain. Kigali in the morning.
I love it.
Feels so good. Check this out.
You got to let it go. You wish I was invisible. You got to let it go. You wish I was invisible. You got to let it go.
bringing Kigali together.
Yeah.
The heartbeat comes alive.